Okay, so I just wanted to make a video on some things that I feel like you might need to know with him, or if you run into troubles of any kinds, I want you to know how to work through it. So the first thing that I'm going to go over 4 things. I'm going to talk about your inside rein. I'm going to talk about your outside rein. I'm going to talk about stopping him, because he stops really good sometimes, and then other times he doesn't stop so good. So I want to show you how to work through it if he's not stopping well, how to get him back on his back end and stopping. And then I'm going to show you what I do around the barrel to keep him in the right lead and keep him from getting funky with his leads on you. So the first thing I want you to know about his inside rein is he knows, and maybe he knew this before he came here, but when he knows the difference between when you lift him, okay, and when you pull him, like you're pulling him around a barrel. So and I think that's important with every horse. So I just want you to know, if you ever pick up your rein and he's moving away from your rein, it's because I really get my horses to respond on my inside rein, okay? When I pick their rein up, I want them to really move away from that rein and pick their shoulder up and move their body over. But he also knows that when I drop my hand and I bring my hand to the inside, that I want him to follow his face right around there. So I just want you to know, sometimes people get on my horses after I ride them, and when they use their inside rein, their horse starts going the opposite direction. So just know that when you lift him up, he's going to move away from your inside rein, like to keep yourself from hitting a barrel. And then when you drop your hand down, he knows to follow his face right around there, okay? So next thing we're going to go right into is your outside rein. He knows how to get off his outside rein. So I just want to, he's not real quick about it, but that's okay. He doesn't really, you can quicken him up. So I just kind of want to show you what I mean here first. So like right here, he's not responding. So I'm really going to thump him with my outside leg. There you go. And then you can see him kind of speed up. So if you ever go to put your outside rein on this horse and he's not moving off of his outside rein, really thump him with that outside leg and he'll go right around there and move off that rein. He's kind of a horse that around the barrel, I use the outside rein a lot on him. So it's going to be important to keep him sharp off responding to your outside rein. So again here, he's not really responding well. So I'm going to thump him with my outside leg a little bit and kind of bump him with that outside rein. I'm kind of exaggerating it so you can see in the video. But I just want you to know that it's important to keep him really responding to your outside rein. And then let's see. Okay, so the next thing is going to be his stop and his back up. So one thing you can work on with him at a walk, this horse really responds well to the word whoa when he responds to the word whoa, which he's trying to do right now. So you're walking along, and without even, I'm going to turn around, but before you even pick up your reins and sit him in the ground or pull him back to stop him, use the W word before you do that. So like this, oh, and then stop him. Okay, when you back him up, kind of get a hold of his nose. You can seesaw your reins a little bit. Then once he gives you his nose, you can squeeze him back with your legs instead of pulling back, okay? But the one thing with him is you want to make sure when you stop him, so, oh, and then I'll kind of take a hold of him. If he doesn't listen to the word whoa, then I'll take a hold of him. But if I were to just put my legs, just pull back on him right now and put my legs into him, he's going to put his head straight up in the air. So just kind of make sure you have his face, like right there, and then you can squeeze your legs. And don't be afraid to keep his head down, because he did want to kind of put his head in the air and not back up very well. So I'm going to show you another thing you can do with him just to keep him handy and keep him working on his back end. It's pretty similar to one of the videos that I posted. So I'm just going to trot a couple circles here, and then I'll come right over here and I'll do the drill and I'll walk you through it. And don't be afraid when you're riding him around to bridle him right into his bridle and make him keep his face nice and low. I do a lot of this with him. It really keeps him soft. As long as he's giving to you, and you can see when he gives, there's slack in the reins. So it's not like I'm in his face and taking a hold of him. I just think he really works better when you work on bridling him up and keeping his face nice and low. Because I can also kind of drop my hand and let him trot along here without getting in his face, okay? But if he ever gets to going too fast on you, that's what you want to do, is just kind of bridle him up, push him into that bridle with your legs. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. Ooh. Okay, so I said whoa, and then a split second later is when I set him in the ground. And then I'm going to take a hold of his nose. Once he gives me his nose, I'm going to add leg pressure. And then I'm going to use my inside rein, and I'm going to pull him right around there. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to back him up, get his face, inside rein, and pull him right around there. Cool. Back him up. So if he ever does that with you, just take a hold of his nose and back him up. He's not real sure about the leg pressure when you go to back him up. So that's why it's pretty important that you have his nose before you use leg pressure. And there you go. And then start squeezing, okay? And then put him right on his back end and pull him around. And actually, this drill that I'm doing here is what cutters use. So say there's a cow right here, or say you're the cow, Justin, who's my video person. This horse, when that cow goes that way, I want him to stay on his back end, but I want him to bend around there and stop that cow, okay? Now say the cow goes the other way. I'm gonna take a step back until he gives me his face, and then we're gonna follow that cow right around there. So it's just a drill that I learned working for cutters that can keep them on their back end. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now around the barrel. I know that you struggled with him staying on the correct lead when you're going around the barrel. If you ever have that problem, just come out away from the barrel and give yourself more room and push him into that correct lead. And do a couple of big circles in that correct lead, always driving him forward, okay? That's the most important thing with him around a barrel, is to drive him forward. So I'm gonna kind of show you the shape, but I use a lot of outside rein around the barrel with him. I just really keep him working off my outside rein, so I'll show you here. Even loped him yet, so I'm gonna lope him just a couple circles here. And if he wants to relax and put his head low, I pretty much let him. And then I And when you're backing him up, make sure that you give, like right there at the end, he really gave his face to me. I want to make sure and give back to him when he does that. So, real easy with my legs here. Okay, and then now I'm squeezing. There. He just gets bracy every once in a while when you back him up, so you kind of have to baby him about it, which you know, I'm sure. Always get his nose, then apply leg pressure if he starts slowing down in that backup. But that's pretty much it with him. If you have any questions, let me know, but I think that's the main things that you should keep working on. When you're working your barrel pattern, when you're exhibitioning him, make sure that you set him, make sure that he rates his barrels. So whether you stop him at the barrels or whether you lope in there and just break down to a trot like 6 or 8 feet out, and make sure you do it with as little hands as possible. So like if you can get away with sitting back in your saddle and just saying whoa at the barrel, you don't necessarily have to get in his face. He's gonna break down. He doesn't have to come to a complete stop. However, if you're working barrels ever and he goes by his barrel too much, then you're gonna wanna go in there and set him down on his back end. But I think all this stuff will help you, and you can come back to this video as many times as you need to. So